State education leaders have spent the past 3 months traveling across the state, hearing from the public on what they want to see in education funding. The governor says today's announcement is a culmination of all of that research, and he says they are trying to take a student-centered approach moving forward. The new plan, titled the Tennessee Investment in Student Achievement, or TISA, replaces the 30-year-old BEP funding formula. Under the new plan, each school district would receive a base fund of about $6,800 per student. Then, each student gets funding on top of that if they meet certain criteria, like if they're economically disadvantaged or living in a rural area, and if they have a unique learning need, like a disability, or if English is their second language. A district's budget would depend on enrollment and individual student needs.
As a parent, I would want to know this is the service my child should be receiving in order to meet expectations. Here's how much money is being allocated to my child to ensure my child can thrive.
Schools can also earn bonuses for individual student achievement tied to test scores and college readiness. But some are concerned that could negatively impact underperforming schools. What about the critics who say that tying extra funding to performance might not be fair to some schools or districts?
So I think one of the things that we took into account is that there is significantly more outcomes funding for those students who are economically disadvantaged.
The plan also pledges to raise starting teacher salary to $45,000 a year by 2026. This funding formula is not finalized just yet. It still needs to go through committee hearings and be voted on by legislators before it can be passed.
After months of debate over masks in the classroom, at least one Metro School Board member is calling on members of the community to keep it up.
I'd like to see everyone in this room who's turned out to advocate about masks show up for some other issues as well.
School board voting last night, as we reported, to make masks optional for Metro students after spring break following a very heated debate. Fox 17 News' Jackie Del Pilar is live tonight in North Nashville with that plea tonight from that school board member.
We've heard from parents on all sides of these issues throughout the pandemic come out and advocate for their children, many of whom had never participated in this way before. But one school board member says there's a lot of issues outside of the pandemic that they need help with, and she hopes these same parents will be their partners moving forward. Crowded meeting rooms and impassioned signs. Parents across the mid-state are showing up for their kids, especially for pandemic protocols.
What I do tend to see is folks come out when they're upset about something.
MNPS school board member Emily Masters says she's encouraged by parent engagement these past 2 years, but she's concerned the engagement won't extend beyond the pandemic.
I feel like folks who are coming to board meetings say to protest about masks, they feel they have something to contribute. And I absolutely recognize and appreciate that. However, I would like to think that's not all that they have to contribute.
Several new parent organizations have mobilized in the pandemic, including Let Nashville Parents Choose, that's been advocating for options through the pandemic.
We were elated by yesterday's board vote to end the mask requirement at spring break.
Morgan Barth has helped organize the 1,000 or so members with Let Nashville Parents Choose. He also hopes parents can keep up the momentum. Do you have any plans to keep things going with Let Nashville Parents Choose even beyond pandemic restrictions?
It's a good question. You know, we have a lot of parents, many of whom were not really actively engaged, at least in this kind of advocacy before. And we certainly want to find a way to be supportive moving forward. I'm not exactly sure what that will look like.
But Morgan says parent engagement can only be accomplished with the help of school leaders. He's calling on administrators to be receptive and responsive to parents as they work together to make schools a better place.
Community members and businesses by Brookmeade Park tell us the trash problem from the homeless encampment there is only getting worse, affecting their properties now. It's left them asking what city leaders are doing to try to clean up the area. Fox 17 News' Amanda Chin live in West Nashville tonight. Amanda, you've been talking to the taxpayers there. What are they saying?
Yes, Stacy, these business owners tell us the ongoing issues at Brookmeade Park are deeply impacting them. However, there are some mixed opinions on what resources are best to help solve the problem. The trash, drug needles, and fires. It's not only taken over Brookmeade Park, but it's spreading beyond the park.
We just want a safe community for all of the neighbors. And so it makes sense to address anything that's going to address crime and safety.
Last year, Metro Parks asked for just under $2 million to place cameras around parks all over the city, including Brookmeade. There were also funds for 3 bobcats to clean up debris removal after everyone living at the camp got housed.
Any kind of heavy equipment that can be used to assist in cleaning up our park can be used to cleaning up another park.
Rebecca Lowe of Reclaim Brookmeade Park says she's gone in several times to help pick up trash. After pushback from some council members concerned with invasion of privacy and closing encampments, the original bill got slashed to just over $1 million. Cameras would only be at Brookmeade with no bobcats allowed.
It's an invasion of privacy if it's on private property. If once you're on public property, anything goes. Unfortunately, that's just the way the law works.
In response to the funds cut, the Homeless Impact Division says we need all resources and tools to address homelessness and restore outdoor areas to their pristine beauty. Residents of this city deserve that. Metro Council member Colby Sledge, a sponsor on the substitute bill, says while they removed heavier equipment, they kept in trash removal vehicles and power washers to use for cleaning. And some other Metro Council members say instead of focusing on equipment, we should be putting more of our focus on finding housing.